come to Canada, and how did it?
But then COVID happened,
Mhm.
and like others, I also thought of taking adventure, doing some adventurous activity, and I applied for Canada.
Oh, that's the adventurous trip. What are the kind of things that people can do, and especially the mistake?
The biggest mistake as a candidate we do is we use AI to reach out to recruiter.
If within few words you would like to share your golden tips with our viewers.
For sure. So first thing is be active on all platforms, organized and unorganized. Be a part of every community where you can be, but do not share sensitive information.
Namaskar, Adab, Sat Shri Akal. I, AMANDEEP, on the behalf of my entire team, welcome you to the another podcast of Canadian Dream JUS Broadcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us. Why special? Because he's a HR, mentor, and on the top of that, he's a wonderful human being. So, without a further ado, let's welcome AMANDEEP KUKREJA. Welcome to the show, AMANDEEP.
Thank you so much, Robin, and thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. Though I don't think I deserve that, but still I take
You
it.
deserve everything on this planet or someone. So you should say that. So before I start, I would really like you to introduce to people that who you are as a person and as a soul as well.
For sure. So my complete name, as you mentioned, is AMANDEEP KUKREJA. I prefer calling myself as Aman.
Mhm.
My journey started from India, Delhi. I'm a Delhiite, born and brought up in Delhi, and my total corporate experience is more than 15 years. But on my CV, I just mentioned 7-8 years now.
Mhm.
We'll talk about this, that why do you have to tailor your resume and you have to shorten your overall experience.
Mhm.
So I started with the BPO industry when I was in college. So I think like every fresh graduate who's doing graduation is looking for some side hustle, some extra income.
Mhm.
So for that, I started with the BPO, and that time BPO industry was booming up in India. So
Mhm.
I took it as a good opportunity. And honestly, just like all youngsters, I also wanted to go and work in a BPO for 1 or 2 months
Mhm.
and get a good mobile phone,
Mhm.
and then quit that job. That's how the initial dream was, and I joined a BPO, and then after 2 months, I was very casual. I was not serious about that job. And after 2 months, when I thought of quitting, one of my mentor at that moment, he was my boss. He told me one thing, which
Mhm.
I still remember. He said, Aman, for sure, maybe BPO is not your industry. You don't want to make your career here.
Mhm.
All points taken.
Mhm.
But when you leave,
Mhm.
leave on a good note.
Mhm.
So that if your plan B doesn't work, this plan A still exists for you.
I will come back onto the line that you said. Definitely, we are going to talk
For
about
sure,
this,
for sure.
but that's
So
graceful.
so it's very important that you do not leave on a bad note.
Mhm.
So he told me, he said, I'm going to continue for a few more months, have a good rapport,
Mhm.
work on your plan B, on your education or whatever you're doing. Once that's in a position to start off,
Mhm.
then leave from here, serve your notice, and leave on a good note.
Mhm.
And in case it doesn't work out, you're most welcome to come back.
Mhm.
That's how it should be. And my plan B was to join my dad in his business.
Mhm.
So my dad had a good business, and he wanted to expand it further. So he wanted me to do complete. He was just waiting for my graduation to complete. Once it's done, he said, "Aman, come and join me." That's usually
the common thing, right?
common thing of every middle class family we have.
Mhm.
So I was pretty ready about it, and the call center was just for fun.
Mhm.
I said, "Okay, I've already worked for 2 months. Let me try for 3-4 more months. That's fine, no problem."
Mhm.
And simultaneously, I started helping my dad too. And in 2000, I think it was 2010,
Mhm.
when the Commonwealth Games was about to be launched in Delhi, and our shops came under ceiling drive.
Mhm.
So that was a very big setback for our family. And we recently bought another shop
Mhm.
there to where we were planning to have our showrooms and everything.
Mhm.
So it was a setback. And then I said, okay. Then I realized my boss statement. Yeah, he was right.
Mhm.
Now, if I would have quit at that moment on a bad note,
Mhm.
probably my plan A was also,
Did not work.
I screwed it.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, now at least God gave me a lesson, and I should continue this job. So I, till the time I graduated, I stayed into BPO industry, and I also grew up the ladder there. So I got an opportunity to work as a supervisor there, then as an operations manager, and there also I met. Sorry, my introduction is being, I'm keeping it too long, but then
No, but it's interesting, I would
I
say.
wanted to share a few stories which I learned
Definitely.
during my journey so far. So during that BPO experience, I was a quality analyst, so I was monitoring somebody's call. So very similar girl who had a very similar attitude like me, and she said, I was coaching her that you should be more serious about the sales which you are doing, the call center job you're doing. She said, no, I don't give a damn about it. Reason being, I got an MBA admission. I am quitting this job in next 15 days. So don't coach me on anything. I said, still, you should think about it. And she was not interested. Simultaneously, along with my BPO job, I was doing executive diploma in management as well. I'm a kind of person who prefer to keep all 7 days busy. So I do not take holidays. I prefer 7 days routine. So 5 days I used to do my job, and 2 days I used to do executive diploma in management. Somehow their networking worked very well for me. I had a corporate experience, and they were looking for somebody who can train their fresh graduate MBA students. I applied there, and luckily I got an opportunity.
Awesome.
So after a year, I joined a college, and I was a teacher there. Initially a lecturer, then I was promoted to an assistant professor. That was my last designation at the university. So that college actually was also into transition phase from college to university. So I saw that phase. And the best part why I want to talk more about the college was this girl whom I coached during the call center experience, where she said, I give a damn about it. When I entered into my class first day, she was sitting right in front of me, the same MBA college.
Oh.
And she was in tears. She got so scared. She said, Aman is here now. He's going to fail me. He's not going to give me good grades. So I saw her, and of course, but I ignored because there were 100 more students in that MBA class.
Definitely.
So I completed my class. I went back to my chamber, and she followed me. And tears in her eyes, hands folded. Aman, I'm sorry, I did a mistake. I should have listened to you. I said, Dekhya, such a small world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So always ensure that you leave on a good note and you carry good impression about yourself.
So true.
Yeah. And then I decided to move back to corporate. Then it's an LPO. I don't want to name about the company, but then it's an LPO, US based company working in India, and we had close to 500 lawyers there. So I started there as an operations person, and but my more interest was more into people engagement, policy making, performance appraisals, recruitments. So and my boss also realized my potential, that he's very good with it, and he always kept me close to the HR. So all departments function, like the point of contact was me with HR. So I learned a lot of HR practices during that, and then eventually I got a transition into HR. That's how I landed up into an HR job. Was doing good. I was an HR manager there. I think if I would have stayed longer, I worked there for almost 8 years. So if I would have continued there, I would have got a senior manager position too. But then COVID happened, and like others, I also thought of taking adventure, doing some adventurous activity, and I applied for Canada.
Oh, that's the adventurous trip ever, right?
So, because before COVID, you never thought of, you were so busy, you never thought of other things.
Yeah.
Moving back or moving to a different country and all. So I thought, okay, let me try. A lot of people are going, it's a bhed chal. Everybody wants to go to Canada, or they're trying for Australia, and a lot of people from your family also are moving. So,
But your intention was more towards the exploration part, right? You
Yes,
wanted to explore. I really love the way you summarized, that where did you grow, and then how did you land up your first job and everything. Actually, now people must have got to know that why you are HR, why you are mentor, because you actually have given a lesson to that girl indirectly. I won't say that directly, but definitely directly. And you also told us that what feeds your soul, that is people people feed your
People
soul.
say.
So you're a people person. So I really, really love this introduction. I would like to move forward with more such conversation. So we are speaking about Aman's journey, how he transitioned from India to Canada. So I know the transition must not have been so easy as it seems. So definitely would like you to, remember all those good old days. I would definitely say good old days. I know that at that point of time it seems very difficult and daunting task, but definitely we should always remember this as a good memory. So definitely you would love to know that when did you come to Canada and how did it for you? Like, was it like a dream come true or it's just like normal thing for you?
Sure. So when COVID happened
Mm-hmm.
and work from home environment started, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in India, my travel time, my home was in Delhi and my office was in Gurgaon. I
Uh-huh.
used to spend 2 hours driving one side. So me and my
Mm-hmm.
wife both were on roads, 4 hours of commuting, and then
Mm-hmm.
8 or 9 hours of working. In India, it's not 8 9 hours, rather it stretches usually.
Mm-hmm.
So never had a time to think about other things. So when COVID happened, these 4 hours got saved. Then I
Mm-hmm.
started thinking maybe, okay, hey, let's explore other opportunities. What's if we can move abroad, if that's even a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Few of my friends got PR at that moment, and so I was also excited that, hey, come on, if they can get it. I was not jealous, but then I was motivated by them that my
Mm-hmm.
friends got it. I should also apply. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
also get it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to so many different agents, everybody giving good dreams to you. Come
They
on,
are
give us,
selling the dreams
yeah, yeah,
actually.
yeah, give us 50,000, give us 1 lakh, give us 2 lakhs, and you'll get a PR very soon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then I did my own research, and I'm a kind of person, before making any commitment or giving even a single penny, I will do a lot of background research. I
This is
would
good.
not get sold only by the words.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met these agents, but yes, I was taking learning from these agents that, oh, this is the process you can try, this is something, this is a channel where how you can go to Canada. One was of course express entry, then there was PNP program, then there was a student program. And I did my research, and everybody said everybody was trying to sell me express entry, and I knew my scores were low. It was not as per the standards, which the cutoff scores which were coming. So then he said, no, don't worry, we'll help you with the PNP, and PNP is very easy. Again, give us some money, give us some money. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of agents did that. I said no. Probably this is not. Then I said, why are we not focusing on student route?
Mm-hmm.
They said, no, your age is quite high. You will not get a student visa. I said, okay, but I want to try.
Mm-hmm.
Then still, uh, these agents said, no, we don't want to spoil our name. Our reputation will be at stake because you will not get a student visa. I said,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry, that's okay. I'll try on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So though I found an agency who does student visa free of cost, so I enrolled with them then, and I said, okay, let me give you my credentials and everything. They also said, I mean, chances are very less that you will get your student visa. I said, I'm fine because I know how to make a story. I will make an SOP, and you just present that. That's okay. You put it in my file, and then we'll see. This is my destiny. And I knew it very well that HR here, because there were two reasons, to apply for through a student route. One was, of course, to get into
Canadian
Canada, right?
education. Yeah.
Canadian education. Second was that I knew that HR laws are different here
Mm-hmm.
than India.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe recruitment, though I have worked in within an MNC, I have seen American culture. I have seen few of our clients were Canadian too. So I have spoken to Canadian counterparts too. I've
Mm-hmm.
spoken to Australian counterparts, but then still my thought was that Canadian education is imperative to get a job here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, why not? Let's try a student route. So I applied. I mentioned all these facts which I shared with you on my SOP,
Mm-hmm.
and I applied only for one college.
Mm-hmm.
Though usually people apply for 5, 6,
Different
7
different
colleges,
colleges.
I applied for only one college, and I said,
Okay.
"Jo hoga acha hoga," right? So
You put
I
it
applied.
into the universe and then
Right.
universe
Let's
worked
see.
on it, right?
Let's see how it works. So I applied for that, and everybody in my family was not taking me seriously. Said,
Mm-hmm.
"Come on, you're kidding. It's not going to happen." I said, "Okay, sure, let me try."
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I got the visa approved. First, I got the admission to the college, and then secondly, my visa got approved. Then I'm saying, okay, finally, I'm packing my bags. I'm going to Canada.
And
Uh,
that's when how your self belief grew even multiple more times, I would say.
It's-
When somebody is saying it's not gonna happen, but your inside is saying, your instinct thinking is saying that something is going to happen, and it's going to happen for a better purpose.
Right. So there's you always take it as a challenge when everybody says this is not going to work, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
You put your 200% to ensure this works.
This will work,
Right.
and I'm going to work it. Like,
Yeah.
this is going to work.
Yeah. So
at
I think
any point of
SOP
time.
plays a very vital role. If you have a good story,
True.
it's not age, which
Yeah. It's just that how are you connecting the dots, right?
true. So true. So true. So I applied for it, got selected. Then, but again, there were no direct flights from Canada to India at that time due to COVID.
Mhm.
So again, contacted some agents, and they gave us different routes.
Mhm.
You come through this country, you come through this country.
Mhm.
Well, I'll cut it short. I think this is not professional, but so then yeah, somehow I came here to Canada. But I started my education in India itself
Mhm.
while I was working with the same company.
Mhm.
So because it was work from home,
Mhm.
even education was work from home because they were not no offline classes.
Oh, so
So
you
it
were
was-
in India back then?
Yes. So I
Okay.
did my first semester there. Everybody takes 2 years of program so that they can secure 3 years of work permit. I took only 1 year. So
Mhm.
when I khatro ke khiladi, so I always thought of taking risk. I don't know why. So I said, let it be an adventure trip of 1 year only.
Mhm.
So I said, let's see 1 year. If there's a need, I will take a second year too.
Mhm.
So my dual purpose, one was to stay in my domain
Mhm.
where I want my job in HR. So for that, I needed an education too. So, and secondly is of course entry to Canada. So I did that. First semester happened. Second semester, I thought, okay, whatever, let me take an indirect route and I will come to Canada.
Mhm.
Because till the time you don't come here, and I said, finding job for me will not be tough. It's
Mhm.
so easy. I have 10, 15
Years and
years of
years of
experience.
experience.
I worked in a corporate sector, and that too with MNCs. I understand American culture. American Canada, same. That's what the thought was initially, right? So it will be very easy. It's a cakewalk for me.
Mhm.
Of course, a fresher might have some difficulty in finding a job in their domain. I'm not of that category. I'm far away. I'll get it for sure. It was not confidence. It was overconfidence, right? So I
It
was
happens with
right.
everybody.
So though my family and everybody told me that complete your education at least,
Mhm.
apply for PGWP, and then go to Canada so that you are not restricted with 20 hours of work, and then you're doing a labor job there.
Mhm.
I said, no, don't worry. Yeah, come on.
I
I'm
will
good with it.
manage
I'll handle it. Don't worry. So I explained everybody, and I decided to quit that job. My boss said that, since you're working from home, go to Canada, take month or so. And my boss was so cooperative. Take month or so, continue your work,
Mhm.
and we'll pay you in the Indian salary, and you continue that. Once you get something, leave the job, no problem, and we'll adjust in the notice period as well. They were so cooperative,
Mhm.
because I've worked with them for 8 years. So I said, okay, first month I'll do it. So I landed here, looked for accommodation like every student does, and then when I got settled after a month, I told my boss I'm quitting without even looking for a job, because 1 month to ऐसे lag jata hai just to understand, look at the natural
Nuances and
beauty
everything. Yeah.
and everything, thoda ghumna firna. And also after 1 month I said, I'll find a job now, bye. My boss said, Aman, take some time. No, I don't need it, come on, I'll get a job, what are you saying? So he said, okay.
And that's when the real journey
That's when
started.
then I actually tested the water
Mhm.
and realized how deep it is, right?
Ah,
And
true.
you are going down day by day, right? Your motivation level is going down. You're applying jobs, 100 jobs in a day, and you're not getting even a single response. The mistake I did, which I think this will be a question as well, that how to, since I'm into HR, I'm into career coaching now. So what mistakes people do. So I usually coach people from my own mistakes,
Mhm.
right? So the mistake was, I used to mention I had 12 years of experience, managerial experience,
Mhm.
right? And HR domain experience. Of course, I was an assistant professor. So,
Mhm.
these designations, if you put, it makes your CV heavy.
Mhm.
And you are looking for an entry level job here, because if you
Mhm.
apply for a managerial job, probably you'll not get it.
Definitely.
So an entry level, you're overqualified. So my CV was getting rejected left, right, and center.
Definitely.
Then everybody said, reference works here. Look for a reference.
Mhm.
Fortunately, I had few relatives who, who are well settled here in Canada. They have good contacts. they, I approached them and they tried their best to explore their network. But I was very, tough here, that I wanted only a job in HR domain. I will not do other jobs.
You were
Right.
restricted.
Yeah, I said I just want HR job, nothing apart from it. So, but they couldn't even help. Even I know they tried their best to, send my CVs across and everything, but then nobody was ready to hire somebody from India into HR, their HR. Right?
Actually, you're very right here. We really need to go into the depth of it. I would love to talk more about it. Sorry, I'm interrupting
No,
you
for
here.
sure.
But yeah, definitely, this is something that we should talk about. You are covering a very intrigued point here. So we are going to cover it more. So we are sharing the podcast with Aman's journey. So Aman is sharing his wonderful insights in the HR journey, his educational background, and how he has started his first job. So Aman, definitely I'm very, very excited that what was the strategy, that golden strategy that really worked out for you, because you just told us that you were trying million other ways. I would say million because definitely you must have tried that, right? But it did not work out. So what was the strategy that really worked out, and what was the strategy that you would like to offer to our viewers as well?
For sure, I love giving back to the society. So when I, as I mentioned, I had 3 page, 4 pages CV because I had that much of experience, and I didn't want to hide. Why? So then I met one of a mentor here, who coached me. He said, Aman, this is the biggest mistake you're doing. Your CV should not be more than 1 page. You're looking for an entry level job into HR, and you have a 4 page CV. Who's going to read it? Do you really think people are going to read it? And and you said your manager position, handling 450 people, and then you were assistant professor as well. These are not relevant for an entry level job. You will always be considered as overqualified. He told me to tailor my CV. That's what I did. I tailored my CV, made it to 1 page, and then started applying. But again, blindly, that reference word somehow, ye keeda tha, sorry to use this word, but then wo keeda tha ki reference chahiye. Approached so many people on LinkedIn, on my network, my friends, because now everybody has somebody here in Canada, right? Reaching out to Indian friends, ki, please reach out to your Canadian friends and please help me to get a job, right? And so, but again, not getting calls. Then I realized that on Indeed or on LinkedIn, along with my application, there are hundreds of more applicants who are more qualified than me. They have Canadian experience too. So now I know it's illegal to ask for Canadian experience, but at that time when I was looking for a job, Canadian experience was very relevant. They were asking upfront in the job post that we need 3 years of Canadian experience. So, or maybe 1 year of experience, 6 months of some experience is needed, which I did not have it. So what I did was, I somehow it clicked to my mind. Instead of being in the organized sector, why do not I try unorganized sectors? Which is, there are a lot of communities here. Lot of WhatsApp communities are there, and I actually use those communities while coming to Canada. Lot of students, associations are there. Lot of newcomer associations are there. There are a lot of Telegram channels which are there. I know there are a lot of frauds also happen there, but because that's an unorganized sector. But then, yes, that's something where I started looking for it then. And I saw a lot of recruiters putting some small vacancies which probably they cannot afford on LinkedIn or Indeed because they are paid platforms, or they get a lot of applications there, so they were looking for something separate. So I started exploring there, and one day I got an opportunity on a WhatsApp message in a community that we are looking for an HR coordinator position, or it was HR journalist, I believe. Here's my CV.
Okay, so just wanted to ask one thing, that you said that you use unorganized groups, right? So when you joined those unorganized groups, so how did you introduce yourself? You were flashing the messages again and again that I am HR with so and so experience? So what's the strategy to that?
So there's no harm in introducing yourself, but you need to be, you need to ensure that you're not sharing any confidential information with them, because there will be a lot of spammers as well.
Like?
So there are fraud jobs too. I don't know whether you have researched about it or you have heard or experienced such recruiters who will say that, I will hire you, I will pay you this much. They will pay you more than the market standards. They will say it's a work from home job. You'll have to do this and
All
but they will,
extraordinary things.
right, and they will try to extract some money out of you later on. So my first job was that fraud job.
Oh.
So I got in
That's
touch
how
with
you
that
got the
person.
learning.
And then I said, okay, you should not share your confidential information with anyone. Be mindful. LinkedIn profile is fine because it's public, right? Anybody can go and see. So I started sharing with my LinkedIn profile, but then whenever recruiters are looking for specific candidates, they put the requirement. Then you reach out to the recruiter, hey, I am looking for this role. This is my resume. Can we talk about it? That's where I got my first break. References did not work. Organized sector, organized platforms like LinkedIn and Indeed did not work.
This is unique.
So, right, this was first where I got it, and then you said, Vishwas badhta hai, you have more
Self-confidence,
trust.
self-belief, definitely.
That's where my trust on unorganized sectors, on these communities grew. That I applied there, and I was still in my last semester there, and so I had a cap of 20 hours. So HR who was interviewing me, she saw me. I had 10 years of experience and everything, and she liked my profile. Everything was good, and she said, "Aman, sorry, you have cap of 20 hours, and this is a full-time job. We cannot give you this job because we don't deal with cash." And there are a lot of people who said, "Give me cash."
Yeah.
She said, "We don't do." It's absolutely fine. You pay me only for 20 hours. I'm happy to work 40 hours. Rest 20 hours, take it as a volunteership. So are you crazy? Yeah, that's fine, because I know I just need Canadian experience on my CV. Once I have it, I know I will be able to crack it. Right? My
That's
next role, I
awesome.
was that confident. I said, just, take, even you don't want to pay me for 20 hours, I'm fine. Just, give me an opportunity to work. Let me put something on my CV which says it has Canadian experience.
Awesome.
I wanted that. And she said, you're a fool. You're making a mistake. I said, no. She said, don't talk about this to the owner of the company, because then he will think, yeah, he's coming as a volunteer, why to pay him?
Yeah.
So she guided me. So don't do that. Just say that 20 hours you won't pay, rest 20 hours you want to work as a volunteer. I said, okay, whatever makes comfortable to you. So I worked there, and they liked my work. They promoted me as a HR journalist. And again, from the WhatsApp community, I saw one of the recruiter looking for, another HR opening where I applied. They took my 3 interviews, and then they referred me to the company's owner.
Awesome.
Where I went for the interview. Again, went through all. So I think most of the things which I learned in India were transferable. Those skills were transferable. I think that actually helped me to crack my another job. And then, again, I started as an HR journalist and then got promoted as an HR manager there. And then I also hired some interns. Of course, it was a journey, learned many things in HR domain. So I also ensured that I am associated with other HRs, HR professionals. So now, being HR, there's a community called, run by HRPA. So that's an organized sector again. So I prefer and go and attend their sessions so that I can keep myself updated. I follow them rigorously, and so that I have all the changes which are happening in the employment industry. So that way, I think that's helped me to come to this level. And now I've started giving back to the society, because a lot of people, when you're into HR domain, we were talking about this offline.
Definitely.
When you're in HR, a lot of people follow you because they want jobs.
Yeah, definitely. HR has more followers than ever. I have seen. I told you that, right? And this is something visible. You cannot hide it. But you also shared the pain point of it as well.
Yes.
So which I would like that you can mention it here as well, so that people see glory and the other side of it as well.
So indeed, HR has a lot of followers. A lot of people approach HR with an expectation to get a job. But then HR is always in limelight. There's no personal life of HR.
Yeah.
And all the blames. So even you interviewed 5 people, and of course, 1 position, so only 1 person gets a job.
Sure.
Rest 4 are going to blame HR. It's HR's mistake. But I would like to clarify, HR is just more like a facilitator. It is, hiring managers' call. I'm not blaming hiring managers too, but they take the final call, because it's them with whom the new candidate is going to work.
Yeah.
So not HR. HR doesn't play any role there. HR
Mm.
just facilitate things. Will shortlist the candidates. Will of course talk about compensation. Will ensure it's a right fit. These checkpoints HR has, but the final call has been taken by the hiring manager.
Definitely. And the other part of it is, as you said this in the beginning, that always end the call with the good note, right?
Very
You
important.
never know that whenever the next opportunity comes in and they want
I-
somebody like you, or maybe sometimes what happens that I've seen this thing, if they really like you, they mostly skip the first part of it and they
Yes.
just interview you just to have a very chit chat conversation with you, and that's how things work.
Absolutely. And I think it's an important point. Maybe after the break, we'll talk about it. What mistakes candidates do.
Yeah,
So we'll talk
definitely. I'm
about
looking
that.
forward to it, Chetli. And I believe that people should know what are these mistakes so that they can actually learn from it, and they actually refine their CV and their communication in a way so that they can fit into the true Canadian culture, right?
For sure.
So, Omar, we were talking about your job journey, right? How was it? And it was quite wonderful because you used different sources which people don't use. I personally feel that it's not the conventional one, but it was quite right at that point of time, and it really worked well. So definitely would like to ask more about it.
For
That
sure.
what are the kind of things that people can do, and especially the mistakes.
So with mistakes, being into HR, and I've also done recruitments. So the biggest mistake as a candidate we do is we use AI to reach out to recruiter. So on LinkedIn, especially. So if you are my HR and I am trying to reach out to you, and LinkedIn has a snippet.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's long time we have not connected. How have you been?
Oh yeah,
Come
that's a
on,
common one.
right? Everybody knows that. So using those snippets, I think that's the biggest mistake candidates do. Second, we always blame recruiters don't reply. Let's take those recruiters who reply. If they reply, the question is, we are trying to establish a rapport. We are trying to establish our connection. So one important learning is, don't add people into your connection list or network. Try to have a meaningful connection. So the word meaningful is very important here. And how will this happen? It was by building rapport with them, not asking for jobs in the first hand, right? So for example, somebody says, hey, hi, let's assume it's long, we have not interacted. How have you been? The AI response. Of course, HR will get frustrated, but still assume HR replied to this. I'm good. Trust you are also in the same boat. I'm looking for a job. Do you have something for me? And doesn't mean that HR would have, in his backpack, he'll open, here's a job, go take it, right? So HR will say, hey, not at this moment. In case something comes to me, I'll be happy to, put it on my broadcast or on my network.
And that's the common
Right.
words,
That's
right?
the common, right? That's what HR going to reply. Now, how people will reply? 50% will ghost, right? They are not going to reply to it. They are not even going to acknowledge it. Abhi job nahi hai, chodo, nahi chahiye. Few, okay, thank you, very rudely. Rather, I think if HR has replied to you, take this as a platform to build rapport for your future openings. Might be this person is, may not have relevant position for you, but he might refer you somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all about networking. So you remember that girl whom I met in the BPO industry? I told her the same thing. Or what I learned when I was in the call center initially doing the calling, that always leave on a good note, make rapport with your people so that you can come back. Now, people who said, okay, bye, right? And after 2 months, if I have a relevant job, this person continues the conversation with me, probably I would not have that good feeling for this candidate, right? Rather, take an opportunity, make rapport, take it forward and talk more about professional word. I am also planning to get into this role. How can I, I would love to learn from you. Rather, make them as your mentor. Take learnings from them. That's what even we are doing, right? We are sharing our mistakes, which we did, so that our viewers can learn. So I think that's how the intent should be. That's first mistake. Of course, CV we have talked about. We should tailor our resume according to the job descriptions. If there's any specific you want to ask, I'll be happy to answer that.
No, that's actually, I really like the way you said that it's the good time to build a rapport with the person, especially to that HR who is saying that they don't have any openings available right now, but they're happy to share when it comes, right? Now, even if it comes, how would they know that you are the good candidate,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I see it as a other part of it. Maybe you are connecting to the HR, right? And you just want to know that, okay, if you want to go into such field and you have already made good rapport with the HR, then your next job should be to ask him or her that what are the managers doing, right? What are the different managers they should reach out to, right? Maybe they can give you 2 or 3 people's name, or you should ask even if they are not giving, right? And that's how maybe you message to those 2 3 people, and might be, you never know, they all reply, or maybe one of them would reply.
So everything in this world is connected.
Connected.
Right? We spoke about it.
True, so true.
So never assume that the connection you're trying to make, or rather, let me back up. Any education, even if it's not relevant to your field, will add some value to your field. Right? Learnings always help. Similarly, connections always help, but meaningful ones. So ensure, no matter maybe the person has just got laid off, doesn't mean that he will never be able to help you. Maybe in future. So establish rapport. I think that's an opportunity. If the person is also in pain, you can share the pain, right? And be humans at least.
Be human. Yeah,
Right?
that's
And-
the key.
Yeah. So
That's the key, because you should be aware that maybe that person is in this boat now, but you were in the same boat,
absolutely.
and you should feel it.
Yeah.
If you are not able to give him the way he needs it, but at least give him such good quality words that actually empower him or her, which is the need of the hour.
So एक thought student वाला रहता है कि इसका खुद का भी lay off हुआ है, ये हमें क्या job
ये
दिलाएगा,
हमें
right?
क्या
Right?
job
So
देगा?
वो, I
And
think that's
you know
something we need
what?
to come
Let
out
me
of.
just explain this thing to you. This recently helped me. I recently reached out on LinkedIn to somebody. She works as a scientist somewhere.
Wow.
So that's what the profile was. And when I reached out to her, she happily agreed to help me. And I got to know on the call that she was also laid off few months back. But still, she tried to give me all the best resources, all the best
See,
resources.
yeah.
So never ever underestimate the person just because of their role and their company. I didn't ask her that, okay, I need a referral or something. I just asked her for the resources because I wanted to know that, okay, what is in the market and how can I better be able to progress myself. So that was the intention, and it worked out well for me. Even if she doesn't have that much knowledge, but she tried her best.
For sure.
With sorry, she said that, okay, I have this limited knowledge only, but I would love to give it out. So giving should not be with the sense that, okay, I'm going to get something out of it.
Yes.
It's just the
Yes.
grace, right?
Absolutely.
It's just
So
the
true.
grace you are giving, and with the pure intention. That's
Absolutely.
what matter. And I
And I
really
think-
sense that in your
I
conversation
think
as
you
well.
nailed it. You
And
nailed it.
that's how you build community as well, right? So that's what the
Yes.
sense of it.
So it's again more about giving back to the community, and when a lot of people approach you, so we've talked about it, that HR gets the inbox gets flooded. So giving same answer to everyone gets tough. So I thought, why not we have a community, right? And an informal community where people can come and talk, share their experience, share their mistakes, share their learnings,
Without
so that-
feeling insecure.
Yes, and so that others can also learn and improvise, and they make new mistakes. Right? Being humans, we are bound to make mistakes, but doing same mistakes which everybody has done it, there's no fun.
Yeah.
Let's try something new.
Yeah,
Adventure
yeah.
karte hain.
And learn, and definitely, and learn and improvise on it, and definitely every door will open when you keep knocking it, right?
Absolutely. At least one door will open.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Be consistent.
Yeah,
Very
be
important.
consistent.
Be consistent.
Yeah, be
there, right,
consistent.
right.
So yeah, it's important, very
Mhm.
important. So now we are moving towards at the end, although I don't want to end it though. But definitely I would love to know more about your golden tips that has served you over years, because that's what the key of the whole podcast. Although you have shared your entire journey with us, but definitely if within few words you would like to share your golden tips with our viewers.
For sure. So first thing is, be active on all platforms,
Mhm.
organized and unorganized.
Mhm.
Be a part of every community where you can be, but do not share sensitive information.
Mm-hmm.
So be active there. Be active on LinkedIn if you're a job seeker.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not a job seeker, the best time to network is when you are not looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
So ensure that you are a content creator. Be a content creator. Talk about whatever subjects you are studying. I know one. I don't want to name her. I'm a big fan of her. She doesn't have too many followers. What she does is whatever she studies, like the subject, she picks up a topic, makes a video out of it,
Oh.
and shares with her audience. Of course, a lot. I think she's not getting that much visibility, which according to me she should get it. But she's on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate people like that. Reach out to recruiters. Have LinkedIn Premium. That's what I can suggest if you can afford it. If not, trust me, I get many promotional offers. If you're a first-time user, you have never used LinkedIn, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll give you a free code, which is there for 2 months, so you can take LinkedIn Premium subscription, try it out. So with LinkedIn Premium, what happens is you will have in-mails, 15 in-mails. So when you reach out to a recruiter, you apply for a job. Like there is an option called Easy Apply.
Mm-hmm.
If you are doing only that, I think you're wasting your time.
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, try to cover recruiter from all angles.
Mm-hmm.
Do cold calling in that company. Send an email to the same recruiter. You'll have to do some research about it.
Mm-hmm.
Send an email
Mm-hmm.
mentioning all the details. Even the person is not on your connection list, you will still be able to send an email. There is one more tip on LinkedIn where you can mark that job as important. I don't remember the exact word that so that
There is a save option, so
no,
you
save,
can save
it says mark this job as important or something like that which make this job separate from other jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do it only to 3 jobs in a month.
Mm-hmm.
So you will do, if you really feel that this recruiter will feel obliged, hey, who's this guy who made my job as important?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that way you get noticed. So I think what we were talking about, candidates don't get rejected. The problem is they are not getting noticed.
Yeah.
So try to get into their notice.
Yeah.
Do cold calling to that company. Send an email. Send an in-mail. Of course, do the process, what is their own website, follow that as well. So try to cover the recruiter from all angles. If you have a reference, just don't say,
leverage your reference as well,
you use that and say, hey, I've applied for this. Can you please follow up for me?
Mm-hmm.
And very critical point, follow up. Consistent follow up. Till the time you don't get a no from them, don't lose hope.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think with this we can summarize
you covered actually pretty much a sense of everything, Aman. I really, really appreciate it. You know what? I have lots of questions, but the time is quite short. We need to put a full stop on it.
For
but
sure, no
thank
problem.
you very much for your insights. I really, really hope our viewers who are watching here, they definitely get a lot more insights about the job and everything. And definitely they can follow you on LinkedIn as well.
Happy to share there as well.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you very much, Aman, once again. Stay
Thank you.
tuned for more episodes.